Hi everyone, welcome to week 2 of Instructional Technology. I want to first take the opportunity to just congratulate you for being where you are. We are all busy. We know that everyone has papers to grade, everyone has families and jobs and things going on, but you have decided to devote part of your week, part of your time to furthering your education. And yes, of course, this is going to help us and give us a little bit bigger paycheck in the school system, but ultimately we do this because we want to benefit our students. And I applaud you for that because it's not easy week in and week out to teach kids all day and then go home and get online and do work. I totally understand it. I am there, I've been there, and everyone in this course is pretty much in the same boat. So I wanted to share a little story with you about something that I think is very similar to this course. Several years ago, I was in Kentucky and I was doing some research in an elementary school up there. And one of my favorite subjects to teach is reading. I love teaching reading because I struggled as a reader when I was a kid and I was intimidated by it, and it took me a long time to become a fluent reader. And so I've made it my life's mission to make reading a positive experience for students. And so I did my research up there, and one thing that just about any reading strategy will ask you to do is pull background information. So it would be very silly for us to have our students reading an article about some certain topic and not have them pull from what they already know about that topic, because research tells us that the more information that we already know and we take and we connect it to something that we're reading, we're more likely to remember it and to understand it. So let's just say they're reading an animal article, an article about a monkey. And, I have a student who says, wait a minute, I've been to the zoo and I've seen a monkey. And so we'll get to talking about, well, what do monkeys do? What do they smell like? What do they look like? What do they act like? What do they eat? And so when we're reading this article, they have something to visualize. They have something important to bring to the table that's beyond just paper. It means more to them, and they're more likely to remember it. And so this little town that I was in Kentucky was a seminary town. My husband was in seminary, and there were people from all over the world in this town. And within this one little classroom of 28 students, we had students from Africa, students from Korea, China, all over the world, you name it, and there was probably a student from that place in this classroom, and it was very interesting. But when we went to gather background information, these students had amazing stories to tell. Some had been to safaris, and some had been in palaces, and some had, some knew different languages, and so they were very familiar with certain things, and so they shared all of those things with the class. And it was so formative for this group of students to, first of all, grow together and get to know each other, but they did better on the articles that we read, on the books that we read, because they had that information that they learned from each other. And that's how I see this class right now. You guys are stationed all over the state, all over the United States in a lot of cases, and you have a lot to bring to the table. You know your stuff. You're a good teacher. You're a teacher leader. You would not be in this class if you were not. And so bring to the table what you have, and people in this class will learn from it. If you teach at an alternative school, if you teach special ed, if you teach 4th grade, we want to learn from you. And so I noticed in the first discussion that you guys really took to heart, you picked one of the issues that meant something to you. Please don't pick something that doesn't matter to you. This class is about learning and growing and becoming better. If you have 100% funding for technology in your school, don't research low funding for technology. It doesn't matter to you. Maybe go with, students not acting right online. So I just want you to know that that's the way that I see this course, and I hope that you see it that way as well. Don't see the discussion boards as just something that you do in online classes. See it as a time to learn from people. These people, every person in this class is an expert at something. And you can usually see what it is by what they talk about in their discussion board. If they're extremely passionate about raising funds for technology, you're going to learn something from them, and you can probably learn how to raise funds in your own school. So I just want to encourage you to continue to be open and to really be receptive to what other people are saying. Don't just respond to two classmates because that's what you have to do. Do it because you want to learn from people, because these are experts in their field. And it's very rare that you would get to collaborate with people from all over the state and all over the United States and get to do this. I had a couple of people email me and say, I kind of got carried away. I was so excited about reading about whatever it was. And I said, you know what? Don't feel bad about getting carried away. That means that you picked something relevant, something that mattered to you, and that you're probably going to end up using it in your classrooms. If it's not going to make you a better teacher, don't waste your time on it. We want you doing things that matter. I want you doing things that matter. We're going to meet the state objectives. We're going to meet the MC objectives, but we want to meet the objectives that you need for your classroom. So this week, enjoy your time studying the text, learning about new technologies. Enjoy your students. Love on them. Remember, you may be the only positive influence they have in their lives. Yes, they're going to frustrate you. Yes, they're going to do things on technology that you're embarrassed of and that their parents should be embarrassed of and that everybody in the world should be embarrassed of. But remember, you're there to teach them and they need you. Have a great week.